I tell you what, our representatives in the state of Florida are so corrupt that the next time they call the roll, they won't know whether to answer present or not guilty. I'm back at Turkey Creek Middle School because this school is at the center of an epidemic in Florida that nobody wants to talk about. They all want to wish it away. You'll see Chad Chronister have signs that say, "Drive like your kid's life depends on it." Well, when it comes to protecting our kids, the very safety of our kids inside a school, Chad Chronister, Von Ayers, the entire Hillsborough County School Board, they are as weak as they come. You'll notice at middle and high schools, we have sheriff deputies here that are resource officers for the kids to try to give you the illusion that we are keeping them safe. Well, at this particular school right here, my son actually went here and he got bullied. He got beat on, so I moved him. And well, as you can see, they not just have one squad car, they have two squad cars. I moved my son to give him a better chance, a better education, and well, to avoid the violence that takes place here every day. Two squad cars ought to tell you something. Even with the two cars, the violence continues. Nobody wants to talk about it. Chad Chronister's quiet about it. Von Ayers, who makes $330,000 a year, that's more than the governor of the state of Florida makes. He is quiet about it. Our school buses, the transportation department at Hillsborough County School, it is so overcrowded. They have kids riding in the middle aisle of the school bus. If you did that in your pickup truck and you had 14 people in the bed of your truck like Daryl Singletary did, well, you'd be pulled over and written up for having too much fun. But here they're not having fun, these kids. These kids are subjected to violence every single day. And even though I moved my son, he still is exposed to it because the friends that didn't get moved are sending him video footage of the brawls happening every single day. And before I even decided to run for county commissioner, I stood before the school board and told them that their Achilles heel is just keeping their children safe. Your failures do not stop there. The very simple task of keeping students safe is your Achilles heel. Turkey Creek Middle School is well known in the community, not because students will receive a stellar education, but rather for the violence that takes place on its campus on a daily basis. These are all of our children. Doesn't matter what demographic they come from, they are beating them. They have turned our schools into a MMA fight club. And the teachers in these videos I'm going to show you, you'll notice they're just standing around and doing absolutely nothing. Well, what I have found after I talked with many high school and middle school teachers across Hillsborough County and even into Orange County is this. When an altercation takes place in a school, the staff is directed not to break it up. They just stand there and watch because they're not allowed to. So why is that? Because the natural instinct of an adult when we see two kids get in an altercation is to stop it so they don't get hurt. And these kids are getting hurt so bad. Some of the stuff I can't even show you because social media will cover it or they'll take it down. One young man, they showed me his knee. It was awful. It was the absolute worst injury I have ever seen come to a child, and I can't show it to you because that's how bad it was. And then I see Von Ayers sitting there smiling with students, holding up a sign, "Von Ayers, first day of school, I want to be a superintendent." Well, if you want to be a superintendent, Von Ayers, act like a superintendent. Get the violence out of our school. Chad Chronister, you have two deputies at this school. Why is my kid still receiving footage of brawl after brawl taking place at this campus? This is a problem that affects all of us. Doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you come from, your child should be guaranteed the very basic necessity of being safe when they're at school. Because I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I am smart enough with common sense to realize this. If you can keep kids safe at school and they don't have to go to where they know they're going to get beat on, because they use the word bullying. See, I was a fat kid growing up. Bullying, they called me fatty. They called me all kinds of names. I got over it. I made jokes about it, became a comedian. This ain't bullying. This is straight up MMA style fights, and the teachers are just standing around watching it. And Governor DeSantis, this is now your problem. Because I stood in front of Hillsborough County School Board and they did nothing. Why did they do nothing? They're all in on it together. Patty Rendon paid Sim Wims $28,000 of the $52,000 they raised. Then you look at Nadia Combs. She is a Democrat. She gets money from unions and then turns around and gives it all back to the Democratic Party of Tampa for canvassing neighborhoods. Nothing will ever get done at Hillsborough County Schools because some of our school board members, like Jessica Vaughn, have actually done time. I believe it was check forgery or check fraud or something like that. You won't pull that up under Jessica Vaughn because it was under her maiden name, but there's entire Facebook pages dedicated to removing her from school boards because, well, we don't want criminals in our school board here in Florida, but they're on them. Hillsborough County Schools has their own armed security guards too. Well, that's a fine use of tax dollars right there. It's ran by John Newman. He was a TPD officer. Try to call him and say, hey, why do we have brawls like this taking place on our campus? He won't come to the phone. He will direct you to Jeffrey Gibson's, the school district's attorney, for any and all questions. This was a police officer who is now in charge of school security. Can't figure out how to get our schools safe for our kids. Nobody is going to put your kids first. It's up to us as parents to stick together, get over the party line BS, and demand the state of Florida make our schools safe again. I'm Matt DeWelder. God bless America. And I really hope Florida gets their act together when it comes to the safety of our school kids.